Liberal groups protesting Trump's DC crime crackdown received millions from George Soros. Of course they did. We all know the boogeyman himself, George Soros, is funding events like this to try to destabilize our country. How come he's for everything that most Americans are for? How come he's against most things Americans are for? I don't understand. Like the open borders, the uh, getting criminals off the street. They are literally protesting to keep uh, crime ridden DC the way it is. It's ridiculous. But we're gonna talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Free Beacon, and they report that two left wing nonprofits spearheading protests against President Donald Trump's Washington, D.C. crime crackdown have received millions of dollars from liberal mega donor George Soros, according to a new report. Community Change and Community Change Action, the two progressive nonprofits that have funded anti Trump Free DC protests this week, received $12.6 million from Soros Open Society Foundation, the New York Post reported Tuesday, based on an analysis by watchdog group Americans for Public Trust. They have also received $5.6 million from Arabella Advisor and $1.9 million from the Tides Foundation between 2020 and 2023. Soros has long faced scrutiny for donating to liberal causes through the Open Society Foundations, including more than $40 million to elect scores of soft on crime prosecutors in half of America's largest jurisdictions, many of which are now roiled in crime. In Baltimore, violent crime rates started to plummet shortly after the city's Soros backed prosecutor was ousted in 2022. I mean, we see a lot of George Soros uh prosecutors being given the tickets, being booted out because crime is so bad. It's so bad in these major cities. But the Arabella and the Tides networks are also no stranger to controversy. The Tides Foundation, for example, bankrolled the physical sponsor of the Samadon Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network, an anti Semitic group sanctioned in the United States for providing financial support to terrorists, the Washington Free Beacon reported last year. And Arabella Advisors funds a network of nonprofit organizations that funnel money from its billionaire benefactors into progressive lobbying, activism, and elections. Quote, it is ironic that a protest to ostensibly free DC was hosted by Community Change, a group funded by massive amounts of outside dark money to push a pro crime agenda. That's what I get. Americans for Public Trust Executive Director Caitlin Sutherland told the Post in a statement. I mean, think about it. The Democrats, the leftists, are literally pro crime. It's madness to me. The Bible talks about this. They would call good evil and evil good. This is nuts. We're literally living in the end times. It has to be. It can't be this bad for no reason. Well, quote, DC is facing shootings, carjackings, and assaults, and yet progressive groups like the Pritzker Foundation, George Soros, and the Arabella Network all spend millions of dollars to manufacture protests that weaken our communities, Sutherland added. Um, and they use like fake protesters and stuff like that. I just did a report, I think it was today, earlier this morning on that. Uh, or yesterday I should say, on how a lot of these protests is up 400%. Fake protesters, bought protesters are up 400%. That's crazy. But Trump on Monday announced that he is deploying the National Guard to D.C. and placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under federal control to reestablish law, order, and public safety in the nation's capital. While crime in the district has fallen since last year when the city council reversed its stance on criminal justice reform and passed the Tough on Crime bill, the district has long struggled with high rates of violent crime and saw spikes as recently as 2023, with homicides up 35%, robberies up 67%, and carjackings up 82% that year. I think it's only down like 10. Yeah, it's only down like 10% for real this year. It was still pretty high. Uh, Um, Trump said the Monday actions will rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, declaring this is Liberation Day in DC, and we're going to take our capital back. And the leftists are upset. This is crazy. Something has to happen to these people that fund that funds crime, and how can he be doing this and get away with it? I just don't get it. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.